Hello everyone, I'm Rachel with Cleveland Metro Parks Outdoor Recreation, and today I want to introduce you to some very basic stand-up paddleboarding terms to be able to do with your stances, kneeling, standing, and then effective board trim. To be able to get started when you're stand-up paddleboarding, I always recommend that you start kneeling. If you start standing and you're close to shore when you launch, you can get kind of wiggly on your board and then fall off, and if you fall off close to shore, it could cause you to injure yourself. So always start on your knees. When you're on your knees, you can either be up tall like this or down flat, whatever's more comfortable for you. For today, I'm just going to kneel up straight. When you're kneeling, some people think they have to have that top hand on that T-grip, and that can be a big stretch when you're trying to paddle from your knees. So it's a good idea when you're stand-up paddleboarding from your knees to go ahead and hold your paddle either baseball bat style or double overhand, whichever is more comfortable for you. So with this, you can go ahead and paddle wherever you need to be on your knees. The great part about being on your knees is you can do almost any stroke from here. So if you don't quite have your balance, or if you hit bigger conditions, wind and waves, go ahead and go down to your knees, and it can make it a lot easier for you. Once you start to get that balance and you're feeling good, it's time to start to stand. There are lots of ways to be able to stand. I recommend starting with placing your paddle in front of you. As you get ready to stand, you're gonna see there's an indentation on my board. This is called the handle or the hand well. You can see my hand in here. You want your feet, and when you're kneeling, your knees to be on either side of that hand well, because that marks the center point of your board. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit, something called trim. So feet on either side of that hand well. Go ahead, start to stand up. As you stand up, your legs might start to shake. It's okay. Take a deep breath and it'll help you relax. The other thing you want to do right away is get your paddle in the water. If your paddle's out, you can become unstable. Putting that paddle can help add stability. So starting from the bottom and working our way up, you want to start with your feet about shoulder width apart. You want to wiggle your toes, because that is going to allow your foot not to get sore. A lot of people like to grip their board really tight with their toes, and it can create soreness in the arch of your heel. So wiggle those toes, feet shoulder width apart, knees bent. Beginners have a tendency to lock their knees, and then it's really hard to be one with the water. So go ahead, bend those knees, back relatively upright. Don't paddle like this where your back is bent. So back upright, paddle in the water, and this is going to be a good stance for you to get started. As you're standing, you'll notice my feet again are shoulder width apart on either side of this hand well. That's going to be something that we call trim. So we have side to side or rail to rail trim. The side of your board is called the rail. So in here we have good trim. This would be an example of not good trim. So you have one foot on either side. You can see how unstable that makes me. Putting the feet too close to the middle or on the stringer can make it really hard, or all the way to the outside can make it really hard. So again, shoulder width apart. This is called neutral stance. I'm going to show you modified neutral stance is when you take one foot back a little bit. So we still have side to side stability, but now we're starting to get nose to tail stability. And if I go back a little bit further into surfer stance, you can really see that I have nose to tail stability. As I shift my weight, it shifts my board. So you want to be able to control the nose, the tail, and the rail to rail. So from this stance, you're going to notice that I have my leash. The leash should always be on your back foot. So this is known as regular foot. If your left foot is back, it is known as goofy foot. If I was going this way, I would move the leash to the other foot. So I'm going to switch back to regular foot. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. Make sure that leash is always behind you. A common beginner mistake is that you might be backwards on your board. So if you look down and that leash is in front, it means you're paddling your board backwards. Go ahead, turn around, leash behind you, and you'll be set and ready to go. So hopefully today's video helps you understand some of the different stances you can have, from kneeling to standing, gaining your balance, and getting in different stances. Please check out some of our stroke videos to learn more stand-up paddleboarding tips.